we wanted to get a video made and sent out to everybody just to go over the latest information. We want to make sure that we're saying that this is all info. None of this is set in stone, but these are the current talks. We're a day after LMC, and I had a meeting with our commissioner chair this morning just to keep up to date on things. So with that, we'll go over kind of the current direction of the department. So
there was a fair number of people at the bargaining meeting a couple days ago, I think between online, mostly it was online. Some of this you might have already heard, but essentially the chief's contract has been extended through June of 2026. The Zane train, as it's been called, has slowed. It's not stopped or gone off the tracks. The issues Essential Pierce is having with their staffing levels and overtime and their new schedule has been some unexpected problems with it, and so because of that, it's delaying any big contract for services with us, and it's hard to say what that timeline is, to be honest, but it's definitely slowed compared to what it was earlier. We were thinking potentially September. I mean, there's been lots of dates, but essentially, don't worry about it. It's not happening anytime soon, but I don't know, maybe they could figure it out and it could still happen, but not likely.
our commissioner board chair still plans on meeting with Chief Morrow to keep talks going. So who knows what all that'll yield, but just know that it's still going. We just don't know when it's going to land, like it was projected earlier this year. So with all that said, one of the other things that came up was identifying that some promotional lists need to be established in the near future. So there's going to be lists established for lieutenants and captains coming up, it sounds like this year. So be ready for those. I don't think the criteria or anything has changed on those.
No, the criteria is going to be the same as it has been. It'll be an internal process. I know there was maybe some frustration with Central Pierce's process and how that turned out. The discussions that I had with the chief is the optics of it. Yeah, he probably could retroactively, or we probably could figure out a way to say, well, we had 3 people test. Maybe they had a certain score, maybe they didn't. But to me, it's just, it gets too muddy, unfortunately, and I think the cleanest way is to just do a whole new test. It'll be internal. Chief Gibson has done them before with Orting, so I don't expect it to be anything that we haven't seen before.
I believe he wants to even follow the same sort of format. So
yeah,
a 4-station that goes over tactics, oral board, that type of stuff. So
yep.
it's nothing that we haven't seen before.
So that'll have to be right. The MOU said that if no candidate were successful in passing, that we would go back to Article 27, which says that we negotiate the testing process. So there'll have to be another MOU that'll spell all that out and the timelines. As far as that goes, I appreciate all the hard effort that everyone put into it for preparing. There just isn't a clean way to do it without just redoing the whole thing. I think that's the best option for everyone involved and the optics for potentially contract for services in the future. And so I'll leave it at that.
Next was talking about hiring plan. So previously, this was something that Chief wanted to hand off to Central Pierce to do. Now that water is, now that the train has slowed down, Chief is going to take that back over for our own department. There are several options out there, but it felt like he was going to go for a lateral list from Central Pierce. I don't know what that will yield, and that plane hasn't landed yet either. He also said Central Pierce had a new hire list that they could use as well, but I think he kind of talked himself out of that, being that those candidates still needed EMT. So we'll see where that lands, but they do plan on bringing on more bodies this year. So just be aware of that. Of staffing, or sorry.
Well, yeah, I was gonna get to that too. I just wanted to, I guess, I lost my train of thought. They also, I believe they're gonna look at the internal candidates. I know people have word of mouth, have put feelers out, and they have received applicants. I believe they are gonna possibly look at those as well. And tentatively, he wants to have some kind of fall, a bridge academy or something for those folks coming in. And I forgot to mention it in the bargaining meeting, but there was a question about third off recently, and it was on day when there was upstaffing. So you looked at the calendar and you could think, oh yeah, I can take third off because there wasn't third off, but you have to take into account minimum staffing of 6. On days where it's upstaffed, it's really going to depend, right? But probably most of the time you're not going to be able to take third off just because the district is upstaffing, because they're upstaffing to try and staff an additional unit. I know it kind of has happened. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but just know that it may not be as clear cut. I don't want to spend an hour trying to go over every scenario, but it was recently denied because the specific instance, there was a probationary person who wasn't checked off to be minimum staffing yet. If that had been the case, they still could have taken third off, but it's obviously it's the district is intending to staff an additional unit. It's not part of minimum staffing. It's above and beyond.
Yeah, and I know this rule affects all shifts, but I know C shift has been down basically 2 members for quite a while. But once your probationary firefighter is checked off and able to staff, that should alleviate that problem. So just have patience with it. We'll get there. So cameras?
The cameras, it was mentioned probably a month ago. Obviously 175, 176 have and 172 have the wonderful security camera system that was purchased by a previous person. And as far as our chief currently is concerned, he didn't believe that they only would be activated when the system was armed. And so that's his expectation. And if there's no way to turn it off, if all you can do is have it on all the time or be able to log in and watch live, he definitely isn't a fan of that. So still looking into it. Hopefully should have clearer answer soon, but it's not their intent to be watching us and recording us.
Yes, the easy, simple answer was if people aren't there, then yes, the cameras are operational. If people are there, they are not supposed to be. So they're working to solve that. Response pants. Someone asked, I know this was a topic probably earlier in the year about getting response pants to match, what's going on in Central Pierce. The chief has been against those. Another member had asked me if that was still an option, and the best answer we got from chief is he'll evaluate it again, but just know he doesn't like it. If there's a issue of wearing turnouts, he would probably say get into your uniform, which is what he really prefers. He prefers Class Bs, but for now, he'll evaluate it, and that's what we got out of there. So, last piece.
A contract committee, we did talk about it briefly at the bargaining meeting. We'll likely looking to do probably just a 2-year contract. So I'll send out an email if you're interested in being on the committee. Please let me know. You won't actually be in the negotiating room or at the negotiation table, but in the past, the contract committee goes through the contract, talks to your shift members to try to get an idea maybe what people like, what they don't like, and then we meet a few times before negotiations and try and get as much, feedback from the body as we can. And again, I mentioned the bargaining meeting, but the firefighter bargaining unit rep term follows the contract, so there will need to be a new person or a re-election of Adam if he chooses to, as far as I know, you're gonna run again.
However you want to say it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to exclude him, obviously.
The position will be open for
It'll be, yeah,
vote.
it'll be open for a vote in the fall.
Yeah.
I think that was all.
So that's the latest. Like I said, none of it is concrete info, but it's the info we have. We want to make sure we shared it. So there you go.
Feel free to reach out if you have questions or if what we said didn't make sense. I'm happy to have the dialogue. I know we haven't done one of these in a while, but there really hasn't been much to convey. We just got back into LMC. We've got another one scheduled for July 1st, and so trying to get back into a more regular pattern with those. And as information is given to us, we will give it to you all as soon as we can. So have patience.
Yeah. Hope this helps. Stay positive out there. Keep the morale up. It's been nice. That's one thing that even our commissioners have felt, as it was relayed to me this morning at our breakfast meeting, is they notice the changes around here. They're happy with everything. Most of them are happy that this merge didn't happen this quick. However you feel about it is your own thing. But I've always said this is a good opportunity for us to just make our department more special on our own. If merger happens at some point, it happens. But till then, we can do our own piece to make this place special. What's the latest line? Somebody said they're the best
kept secret.
Best kept secret. There you go. We're the best kept secret. So keep that mindset. We'll be fine. All right. So thanks again.